Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. I'm Ryan Tyler, he's Jack O'Rourke, and I'm assuming everybody watching can read the screen, so that can only mean one thing. We are so happy to welcome into studio Luciano Ruscitto, owner of the Cleveland Crunch, and by the way, might I say the dominant Cleveland Crunch, 11-1, and they will be taking place in the MLIS League Finals. Weekend of Friday, April 11th to the 13th, taking place right here in Cleveland, Ohio at the Wolstein Center. Luciano, we can't thank you enough for coming in. How are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
You know, it is just so great to be in the building with a Cleveland sports owner who's not coming out talking about swings and misses and we didn't get this right or we got this wrong. Championships. That's all we get from the Cleveland Crunch. That's all you're going to get, folks. So obviously we're very happy to have you in today. Luciano, so first question for the people out there who aren't very familiar with the Cleveland Crunch, what is the variance between indoor soccer and outdoor soccer?
It's a good question. So they differ in many different ways. Indoor, it's a smaller field. It's more of like a hockey style. You play with the walls. There's very rarely the ball goes out of bounds unless it goes over the wall or into the net. So it's just more exciting in terms of faster pace, high scoring. The games end sometimes in double digits versus, outdoor where you'll watch a 90-minute game and it might go 0-0. You have to really appreciate soccer to like a lot of the things that happen or enjoy it if it's not just goal after goal. So I think it's just in more of the entertainment aspect. It's very, it's unique, and it was once very popular, here, and I think that we're starting to see that a little bit more now.
Yeah, well, we'll get to talking about the finals that are coming up soon, but I want to talk about, like you just said, the Crunch, the Force, they were a staple in Cleveland for such a long time. How cool is it just to bring that franchise back and just be on the stage of competing for championships right away?
It's great. It's a great feeling. That's being able to bring the Crunch brand back, having that opportunity and seeing it come to fruition and having the success that we've had with a lot of local players. A lot of the guys that are on the team I knew growing up or played with or against and things like that. So I didn't necessarily know what to expect right away, but I knew that those guys had talent, and I knew that if I maybe gave them a platform to be successful, that they could. And here we are, 2 championships in, about to be our 5th season. So it's, like I said, I didn't really have a lot of expectations coming in and starting it, but from right off the bat, from the community of Crunch fans that existed previously, right away support, and then that has grown since, and continues to grow. So it's just been great to be able to provide that for the city.
There's names like Hector and Zoran that are now forever etched in Cleveland sports lore. Do you have any memories growing up watching those guys or watching the Crunch that kind of now makes it so much cooler that you get that element of, I brought them back?
Yeah, I was a massive Crunch fan. I would go to the games with my parents all the time, go to the youth camps, and then all of a sudden it just went away. It just completely went away. And being able to provide that opportunity for youth players and seeing them and how happy it makes them interacting with the players and going to the camps and getting coached by a guy who's then playing on the field and the connections that they're able to make. It reminds me of myself when I was younger, and especially with Hector and Zoran. Those guys Hector's the best indoor soccer player ever. No one's ever going to top him. And I know him really well personally now, and he's been a great mentor to me. So it's just great to be able to see all of this come full circle.
Yeah,
I don't want to spin it too much on the John Carroll wave on you, but I'm a Blue Streak myself, so know Hector very well from his time out there, like one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach in John Carroll soccer history. Also, in addition to one of the greatest indoor players of all time, a bunch of guys like Swanee who are on the roster as well. How cool is it to, as you talked about it, have that Cleveland fabric still interwoven with the team?
It's amazing. These guys deserve a opportunity like this, a platform like this, and to be able to play at a high level, and they didn't really have that here, other than just different outdoor teams and things like that. So it gives them an opportunity to play in front of their family, friends, and other Cleveland sports fans, and elevates their name. And it's great with the Cleveland connection. A lot of John Carroll guys, a lot of Cleveland State guys. So there's no reason to look elsewhere when you have all the talent here in Cleveland.
Yeah, but last season ended with title number 5. How special is it to have the opportunity to defend your crown, but not only that, do it right here in Wolstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio?
It's great. It's amazing feeling. We've been working for this for a while. we finally have an opportunity to play in a venue like Wolstein, and we're really hoping that the city of Cleveland, shows out for us, and we can, continue to have those types of opportunities going forward.
So very quickly, along with that, what is the best way for fans to buy tickets for this upcoming weekend?
Just go to wolsteincenter.com, and there's like a graphic right on the front page.
Okay, they make it real easy for you then.
Yeah. Talk to me about what last year's celebration was like and what you expect if you get it done again, number 6. How electric is that going to be? Like I said, it's not only amazing that you're going back to back, but just the opportunity to do it right here in the backyard, right in Wolstein Center. I got to imagine that is just such a special feeling.
Yeah, it is. And the Crunch, even the 3 championships that they won in the 90s, none of them were back to back. They've had opportunities to do it. So we have an opportunity to make history here in front of our home crowd, which makes it even more special, in a historic venue like the Wolstein Center. So it's really, the stage is set for us, and now we just have to execute.
So a lot of Cleveland sports outside of indoor soccer tend to involve a lot of losing. Is where we reside most of the year and most of the time. So how cool is it to bring this team back? But not only we talked about how good this team is, but like, we're borderline Yankees level here, guys. Like, we're winning. We're right back up there again this year. We're at the top. We're going back. How cool is it for you to make Cleveland, like, it's people look at indoor soccer, it's like, oh, you want to be in Cleveland. Like, it's proud to be in Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely, when I started this, the goal was how could we play off the legacy that the Crunch created previously, and respect that, and also create our own. And, we have an expectation of that. We're the Crunch. We are good. We are, top team, and we need to. Everyone that's playing for us is on board with that, and we just created a culture that people want to be here. And it's just great to be able to be the kind of behind that and putting those things into place and seeing all of those plans and everything that you've worked for, like, kind of start to play out, and you have successes like win championships and things like that.
Let's talk about this year's team specifically. I mentioned 11-1 atop the league. Goal differential of plus 97. I mean, that's got to be unheard of, no? Talk to me about what makes this team this season so special.
Yeah, these guys, they're all locked in. After the championship last year, as soon as this season started, that was over with, right? There's a new goal now. It's to win the next one. And I think, like I mentioned before, like, we have an expectation, and all these guys have that expectation for themselves too. And this team is special because it's relatively the same from last year. We don't have a lot of turnover. You see teams, guys, one and done, 1 year in, 1 year out. A lot of these guys have been on the team for 5 years now, so they really have a special bond, and they play for each other. And it's more about that than the individual with them, and I think that's why we're so successful.
It's just so cool. Like, you talk about an MVP campaign for Admir at the top, like, really driving everything. So it's like, okay, like, he's hurt, misses a couple games. Maybe there's a chink in the armor coming in Cleveland. No, he scores 26 goals in 8 games. Just talk about how incredible that guy is to watch.
Yeah, Admir is amazing. I actually played in high school with Admir.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so at Wycliffe, and then he went on to Cleveland State, and he was the first person that I called when we think about starting the team, because I knew he was plugged in with a lot of the guys that are on the team now. So he played a big factor, and
whoa, roll credits, baby.
No pun intended, but in forming the team originally. So shout out to Admir and the rest of the guys. And Admir's a good friend of mine, and he has been for many years.
And this is a question where I don't know if there's any legal stuff that was involved, so maybe this is a terrible question. We're going to find out in a couple of seconds. But so when you were looking at, obviously we have a history with the Crunch and Force in Cleveland. Was there a reason you went with Crunch as the name outside of it being the probably cooler name of the two?
It was available. The Force,
okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it all started. It was a dead trademark on the USPTO. So I filed for that and was able to get it. And that's kind of what kicked us off.
Sweet.
So the Force trademark, though, is owned by the Force Sports facilities.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, well, we talked a little bit about the history of the Force, the Crunch. Let's talk about the fan base a little bit. Do you see this year, just in the last couple of years, is the fan base more so, the original fans, the ones who fell in love, or do you see kind of a new demographic coming along as you guys continue to dominate?
Yeah, so I think these past 2 years, we've really started to see more of a demographic. The first few seasons was definitely a lot of repeats fans, fans that were going to the games in the 90s, buying season tickets. And now I think a lot of the youth clubs that we work with, those kids are, we're creating new generational fans now is and we're kind of seeing that more. And a lot of games this year with new fans, right? So first timers coming out and in our 5th season. So I think last year, especially, and now this year even more, we're starting to see the fan base kind of grow outside of just the smaller community that we had.
I was going to say with that too, just one thing, doing my homework, getting ready for this interview, was looking at the social media page and like how just impressive it is. Like well run, it's got a great follower count, like especially for how quick the team just came back. Like how much do you credit social media to the team's early success with fans?
Big. I mean, that was our like primary marketing channel. We kind of made a campaign push before we even knew that we were going to be playing, which kind of created some support and noise behind it, which helped us be able to get into the league. So it all played hand in hand, and social media has been huge because we wouldn't have been able to get the message out without it. And now we have a videographer and we have photographers, and it went from me and a couple other people doing it to me being hands off with it. So I think that has shown in how the engagement with the accounts have grown and stuff too. So
you got John Luca too, right?
Yeah.
So you got the best in the business.
John Luca's
you're going to be good no matter what happens.
All right. Well, I mentioned the MLIS League Finals taking place in Cleveland, Ohio at the Wolstein Center. Men's semifinals Friday, April 11th. Match 1's at 5. Match 2 is at 7. That's where the Cleveland Crunch will be playing. But I understand it's to be determined their opponent.
Yes. Yep. There's a wild card game. So right now it's Omaha, who we played in the championship last year in Omaha. And it's going to be 2 other teams, Fort Wayne and Chicago, it seems like, who are going to be battling for that 5th spot.
And I will say, this is a great chance, too, if you're someone like me who didn't grow up around soccer, like it wasn't my forte growing up, if you're looking to get into it, is there a better time than right now, would you say? I mean, you're looking at the playoffs coming up. It's such a cool thing, too. Like, it's different than a normal game of soccer in a way, too. Like you said, it's a little bit like hockey. You're throwing it off the boards. Like, it's so high-packed, like, high-event sport, 24/7. Like, you got to go check it out, guys.
Yeah, all right. Sunday, April 13th will be the men's final. I want to ask you, though, Luciano, do you guys have a rival? Who would you say is your biggest rival?
We've had some battles with teams over the years. Omaha has been a good rivalry for us since we've had very close battles with them. A lot of playoff matchups. Like I said, last year in the championship, we were able to go down to Omaha and get the win. The year prior to, they beat us in the semifinal, and they came back after we had a decent lead. So, it would be intriguing to see them in the first round. It would be a good matchup for the fans and everyone, the league itself. And Toronto, for being a new team, they're the only team that's beat us this year. At home, we only had 2 home losses in 5 seasons. And so, they gave us a run for our money a couple times. So I think that we kind of form rivalries or so with those teams that give us good games. And the fans kind of exasperate that, because they get into the game.
We'll save your calendar, mark it, Friday, April 11th. Now, 1 ticket will grant access to both of these matches I mentioned. Match 1, 5 p.m., doors open at 4. Match 2, where the Cleveland Crunch will be playing. One more time, Luciano, tell us how to get tickets so we can pack that Wolstein Center as the Crunch go for title number 6 back-to-back.
Yeah, so go to www.wolsteincenter.com, or you can go to clevelandcrunch.com/tickets.
All right, Luciano Ruscitto, owner of the Cleveland Crunch, joining us on the Big Factor. We can't thank you enough. Can't wait to get out there to the Wolstein Center to cheer on the Cleveland Crunch. Appreciate you coming on, my man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Let's get it done.
All right, we'll be right back here on the Big Factor.
Thanks, guys.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Jack O'Rourke, and I got to tell you about our great friends at Fairway Ford, Ohio. Fairway Ford is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the entire state of Ohio. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and I can promise you they will not be beat on price by any other Ford dealers. Do not let a short drive to Canfield, Ohio prevent you from saving thousands. That's quite literally thousands of dollars on your new truck. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, lowest pricing, and same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com. That's fairwayfordohio.com. And you can see every month is truck month at Fairway Ford, Ohio.
You know, Ryan, they'll tell you that Cal Ripken Jr. is the Iron Man. Wherever you go, played the most baseball games in a row without taking a break, whatever. Shout out to our good friends at Fairway Ford and Mr. Bob Davis. 23rd work anniversary came yesterday. So our guy at Fairway Ford, Bob, the dealer principal, 23 years straight. Cal Ripken, I'd like to see a try.
It's almost a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
23 years.
Are we talking GOAT conversation?
I'd have to go back in history and
Mike's
acquire all the Fairway employees to know who to be able to have an educated answer on who the GOAT is. Like when you talk about GOATs, like how is Fairway Ford Mike not?
If we're going Mount Rushmore, I can comfortably say that Mike and Bob would be on the Mount Rushmore.
That's true. Fair enough. Well, right now the Guardians aren't on Mount Rushmore. They dropped 2 straight to the Padres. They fall to 2-3. Jack, what's going on? Under 500. West Coast has gotten them. Scored 2 runs in the first game against Padres. 0 in the latest outing last night. Logan Allen gets the loss. What happened to the bats, Jack? And what'd you think of LTA? You've been on the LTA train.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling. No, it's okay, guys. I promise. I don't know. The Padres are a really tough team. We all know that. They took the Dodgers to 5 games last year in the NLDS. Like they got a really good ball club. And Cole Reagans was the only pitcher until Michael King yesterday that we've seen who has the capability, or not the capability, but really consistently can go out there and just take over a game and just mow your lineup down, just 3 up, 3 down over and over and over again. And Michael King was one of the best pitchers in baseball last season. He went out and he did it last night. You know, I mean, people forget this early in the year. It is only April 2nd. It was April 1st last night. Sometimes over 162, the bats just don't show up. That's going to happen a little bit. I'm not too freaked out. It's only been 2 games, but you know, Dylan Cease on the mound tonight probably ain't going to make it a whole lot easier, I would think, for the Guards. But yeah, let's just survive this. If you can find a way to break 3-3, head out to Anaheim. The Angels suck. No offense to the Angels. Take 2 or 3 there. If we come home 5-4, I'll give you a nice handshake on opening day, Rye.
I knew going into this series, the Padres a good team. You saw them sweep the Braves. By the way, Jackson Merrill just signed an absolute bag.
Good for him.
When I saw you're going to the West Coast, it's early in the season, and you're starting Luis Ortiz game 1, Logan Allen game 2, Ben Lively game 3. I wanted 1 of 3, and that's still possible. Possible.
There's schedule losses is what they call it in baseball sometimes, where you just know, like, hey, this pitching matchup doesn't look great. Guys played extras last night. Bullpen needs a little bit of a rest. Oh, we could give Quan a day off. Like, you're going to have those schedule losses. This was almost a scheduled series lost in a way. The second that they announced that those were the 3 starting pitchers, Ryan, you summed it up perfectly. If you could get 1 of 3 from a team this good when you have your bottom 3 starting pitchers, even lower, considering Shane Bieber's not with the team right now, it would be very, very nice to see, especially as you head out to LA where you theoretically should pick up a couple.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but you know the Guardians are packing it in when the starter gets pulled and then you're rolling out Paul Sewald and Joey Cantillo to go till the end of the game. I get it. You save your relievers for today's game, which I believe, thank God, by the way, finally,
Dude,
4:05.
You know, like, I've been staying up too. Right?
I'll be honest. I've been watching them in the morning. I cannot stay up that late.
I turned it off 5-0 last night, I think, maybe. It was when it just started getting bad. They were just getting hit after hit. But yeah, no, isn't it going to be nice to watch a baseball game in a somewhat normal hour of the day? That is going to be cool. I can't wait till they get back home next week and the games are all normal times like this.
Yeah, all right, Jack, let's play a little game of Are You Worried or Not?
Okay,
we'll start with Nolan Jones. Right now, he went 0 for 4, batting .091. Early, are you worried or no?
How many at-bats does he have?
That's a good question. I can probably find that out.
11?
11.
Yeah.
4.
Oh, that was a guess. But no. Worried yet? No, because the thing that makes Nolan Jones the hitter that he is has always been his plate discipline and his eye at the plate. Like, he's still gotten a couple of walks. obviously you're a 0 for 4 game of 4 Ks is not what you're looking for out of the kid. But I mean, one of those was a really good at bat where he took a high fastball on the inside that they called strike 3. It was clearly ball 4. But I mean, yeah, that happens sometimes. You know, it's tough, especially in a lineup where there's not really a ton to protect Jose. You're going to be asking for guys like Nolan and Carlos Santana to like not be protected as much, go up there and take their swings. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tough one for him last night. But I wouldn't say worried yet. I would hold off worry on him. If we're looking about 150 late April, we can start pressing the panic button a little bit.
All right, this next guy, I'm not sure if I should ask you, are you worried or not, or was this just the unfortunate expectation? Bo Naylor, 0 for 3 last night, 15 at-bats this season, batting 133.
See, his at-bats are worse than Nolan's, so I definitely a little bit more worried about Bo, but that's the thing we talk about all the time. Like, it is so hard to develop a bat for a young catcher. Like, I'm not totally all the way out on Bo Naylor by any means. Like, I'm not saying you should DFA him, but no, I'm going to say no, I'm not worried about him because, like, it is tough, and he's managing a lineup or a pitching rotation that's not exactly there all the way either. So he kind of he's running around a lot of different things to do right now.
All right, well, let's look around the rest of the MLB. Dodgers, they are 7-0. No surprise there. That's without Freddie Freeman, who I guess took a fall in the shower.
Yeah.
Not good for my fantasy team. Yankees, they should have won last night. They didn't. I always pronounce this guy's name. Is it Eugenio Suarez? Eugenio Suarez with the grand slam after Josh Naylor struck out. Glad to see they get the loss. Dodgers, Padres right now look like probably the best 2 teams in the league, I would say.
Yeah, no, and we're playing one of them, so that sucks. But yeah, no, I mean it's a hell of a division. But yeah, I mean it's as crazy as this is going to sound. I know this isn't the most high level baseball analysis you're going to hear on April 2nd today, but yeah, when your payroll is $700 million, sometimes really good things just happen. I mean it does. It is just crazy that these pesky underdogs keep finding a way to win games.
All right, let me ask you this, Jack. I'm going to ask Bruce the same question later today, though. Which AL Central team start of the season would you say that you're the most surprised about? You got Kansas City 2-3, Detroit 2-3, Cleveland 2-3, Chicago White Sox 2-3, and then I think I know your answer. Maybe the Twins 1-4.
You know, honestly, the White Sox were so bad last year that there's a chance that them being 2-3 right now should outweigh the Twins being whatever the hell they are. But no, it's the Twins because you know it's one thing if it's like. You're the Guards, so I mean, I know his last days are a couple different, but like if you're dropping like close games, like it's like, okay, whatever. They've gotten their doors blown off a couple of times already. And I don't know. It's a team who we always talk about, can they stay healthy? Can they stay healthy? Like that's going to be what matters in terms of if the Twins are a good baseball team or not this year. And early on, it's like they're just not getting going. Look, it's coming from the bats. You know, I think they're hitting. Gosh, I looked at this last night, but I think they're like 145 with runners in scoring position or something just ridiculously low like that. But they got to get that lineup going. They really got to get that lineup going.
Yeah, just 14 runs scored thus far this season. Run differential of -17.
I mean, that pitching rotation is putrid.
Wow. Surprisingly, it's not the worst in the league. Any idea, Jack? I'd be shocked if you get this because I had no idea that this was the case. The worst run differential in MLB right now. It's an NL team.
Oh, okay, good, because I was going to guess an AL team. NL team?
Yeah. Oh, this makes complete sense, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, the Milwaukee Brewers, because
Yes.
Nestor Cortez. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yes. No, that does make
because
complete
nasty
sense.
Nestor Cortez is awful, and those torpedo bats. All right, we're going to take another break. When we get back, it seems as though every day we're getting further and further away from the odds of the Browns drafting a quarterback. Field Yates just released his latest mock draft. No shocker, it's not a quarterback. We'll talk about that when we wrap up here on The Big Factor. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. I told you about Fairway Ford, but I got to tell you about also our great friends over at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors, classic light lager as well as lime. No frills, no bitterness, none of that nasty IPA taste, guys. It's just beer-flavored beer. You can find local retailers who sell Garage Beer near you by visiting drinkgaragebeer.com. That's drinkgaragebeer.com. You can see the top of the screen, the lime and the classic light lager. By the way, perfect for baseball games, I might say.
They are, and while we have a quick second, not exactly saying we're trying to fill time here on the Big Factor, but while we got an extra 10 seconds to talk, I don't know if I've ever expressed this to you before. Do you know that I hate beer? Did you know that? But
I did not know that.
There's only like 3 to 4 beers that I will even drink, and Garage Beer is number 1 on that list. So I will.
I've heard that before.
Well, because they really are light on your stomach. Like they're very like the opposite of heavy. I'm not telling anybody to do the 999 challenge. I'm just saying if that's something you want to do, Garage Beer is a very good selection to do so. If you had to place the betting odds on me not finishing the
3
999,
beers and you're done.
So you think it's the 3rd inning?
Yeah, because the food. You don't eat.
I don't eat a lot of food. Yeah, you know that about
100%. I don't think I could do it, and I eat a lot of food. I think I would cap out at 6. No way. I could not do 9 dogs, 9 beers. All right. Mock draft. Field Yates. And I said this before the break. It just seems like every single day we're getting further and further away from drafting a quarterback, which makes me sad. Tennessee Titans number 1. Cam Ward takes my quarterback, Cam Ward, from Miami. No surprise there. That's the expected first pick. Cleveland Browns number 2. Abdul Carter, edge, Penn State. If we're not going to go quarterback, I would prefer Travis Hunter here. I'm not going to lie to you. The medicals scare me a little bit. I think Travis Hunter, listen, if you're not going offense here, if you're not going quarterback here, I need something on offense to get me excited. I understand the appeal of Abdul Carter next to Myles Garrett. Yes, it could potentially be one of the best, if not the best, duo edge rushers in the entire NFL. I can't get out of my memory what I saw last year on the offense. It was absolutely abysmal, Jack.
You know, it comes down to putting asses in seats at the end of the day. That's what every owner is trying to do in every single sport. And with the way the roster is currently constructed, that's not going to happen this year, Ryan. So if you don't go with Shedeur Sanders, who's going to put asses in seats, you got to go with his buddy Travis Hunter. You know, I think that I'm not saying that's what I would do necessarily. I mean, I like Travis Hunter, but that's where I think their heads are at, because you got to get people in that building. Because, Ryan, there's a world where the Cleveland Browns trade down, like, I don't know, 3 spots or something. They take Mason Graham, then they loop around and take Tyler Shaw at 33, and I don't watch 1 second of Cleveland Browns football this year. Like, I'm not saying it has to be a sexy pick necessarily, but you have to do something to make people a little bit excited about this football team.
If I can't walk out of this draft with Shedeur Sanders, it has to be Travis Hunter, man. I need somebody that's going to make an immediate impact. And not saying Abdul Carter wouldn't, but I need somebody on that offense for a quarterback to throw to. Jerry Jeudy is great. He earned the contract. He proved he's very capable, but I need another wide receiver, somebody that can evolve to a true wide receiver 1. Maybe Jerry Jeudy could be that guy, but I just personally don't think he can. Field Yates has Shedeur, of course, going to the Giants. Patriots, they take Travis Hunter. Then you're getting into the thick of it. Jaguars go Mason Graham. But this was a 2-round mock, Jack, and exactly like you said, Field Yates has it. Pick number 33, the first pick in the 2nd round. The quarterback selected for the Cleveland Browns is Tyler Shuck. Is it Shuck? Is it Show? I've heard a million pronunciations. I'm gonna go with Shuck.
I've heard a couple people say Shuck. I've always heard Shao. But that goes back to when he was in college. But I don't know if that's right, or I could be wrong.
I don't love that pick at all.
Yeah, regardless of how you say his last name, I don't want to draft him. That's the uncertainty in the situation. He's just old. Like, didn't we do this before? Didn't we do this a couple times, Ryan? Like Brandon Weeden. Like, don't you just have to know at a certain point? Like, especially if you're looking at this rebuild, it's not gonna be a quick 1-year turnaround with this new quarterback. I don't think anyone expects that. What, are you going to have the guy 28 years old in year 2? Like, just what if he doesn't? You can't do that, Ryan. You really can't.
I still believe and hope, and maybe I'm just praying that they still take Shedeur Sanders at 2. I can't live in a world where we don't take Shedeur and he goes to New York and completely turns that franchise around. I don't want to live in that scenario.
Man, I'm not saying I'm like crazy in love with Shedeur and Travis Hunter, but I really would wonder how they were being rated and how people were talking about not just Shedeur, but like Travis, people try and give him knocks for everything, too. There's people who are saying he shouldn't go in the top 5 because he's not wide receiver 1 or cornerback 1 in the draft. I would love to know how these kids would be rated in a world where Deion Sanders wasn't their head coach or they played at insert Rutgers, instead of Colorado or anywhere in the country. Because I don't know if we totally grade either of these kids fairly, dude. I really, really don't.
No, but everybody always loves to jump on, if he was an X class, he would be X ranked quarterback. Nobody knows how these guys' careers are going to pan out. Everybody thought Trey Lance was going to be a good quarterback. Everybody thought Justin Fields was going to be a good quarterback. Could he still? Maybe in New York, possibly. But right now, he hasn't been. Let's call it for what it is. Mac Jones, I understand he wasn't as highly touted as the previous 2 I just mentioned, but he was a complete first-round failure. Nobody knows what these guys are going to be. You're in this position at number 2 because you didn't have a quarterback. Your offense was historically bad. Therefore, you were slotted at number 2. It would have been nice to be number 1. Then maybe we wouldn't be having this discussion because reports would be out. Browns are in love with Cam Ward. That's going to be the pick. Although I do like that it's kind of interesting. To me, a guy like Travis Hunter and Walk With Me is, I view him as like, he's amazing. A luxury pick. Like somebody like the New England Patriots who are sitting at 4. They drafted their quarterback in Drake May last year. He looks good. He looks to be the part. Now you can take a swing. Not even a swing. It's definitely more safe it is than drafting him than I would say Cam Ward or Sanders. But because they have the quarterback, they're able to take that swing on Travis Hunter. We need that first part because if you don't have a quarterback, nothing's going to move. I don't care how good the defense is. If Abdul Carter comes in here and if Abdul Carter has 10 sacks and Miles has his typical 16, the defense is going to be great. It doesn't matter if you don't score points.
You know what I'll just never get over with the people who don't like Shadur Sanders, Ryan? Has there ever been a quarterback who's more apt to play in a circus, have dog shit offensive line, 1 weapon, and terrible play calling to ever come out of the draft than Shadur Sanders? He's built for Cleveland. He already knows how to play our style. Like he's got like the non-intangible intangibles are there for Shadur Sanders to be a Cleveland Browns quarterback.
I obviously don't know what these guys are thinking, but just from all the reports, all the scrolling on X, whatever, it just seems like Jimmy Haslam loves Cam Ward, respectable, but you're probably not going to be able to get him. I think Andrew Berry loves Abdul Carter, and Kevin Stefanski, if I had to guess, would want Shadur Sanders. So I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but thankfully we're not too far. We're in April. The draft is coming up. So we'll see. I guess, Jack.
Just can't be a swing and a miss, right?
Hey, shout out to Luciano Ruscitto, owner of the Cleveland Crunch. Again, go get those tickets. The MLIS League Finals, the weekend of April 11th to the 13th, taking place right here in Cleveland, Ohio at the Wolstein Center. Friday, you get 1 ticket. It's for both games. Match 2 will be when the Cleveland Crunch play their opponent. We're not sure who that's going to be yet. They win. They'll go on to play Sunday, April 13th in the final. Doors open at 4, match at 5. They're going for their 6th title back-to-back. And how special is it that they have the chance to do that right here in Cleveland?
Right. I will get drunk with you and go to that game.
I would love to.
All right, let's do it. I'm in. Let's
crack some garage beers. Yeah, by the way, real quick, before we head out of here, how are you feeling 24 hours removed from being hypnotized?
Yeah, I think life is totally back to normal. I think life was pretty much back to normal when I was here. I think one of the dumber elements, I honestly didn't really think about this because, like, when you're in the room and like you were here for it, you met David, like who did an incredible job, like who clearly is a world-class magician and hypnotist, is how many people who aren't in the room just automatically assume it's fake. Like, because it's like,
I had so many people text me like, is this real? Is this real? Is this
well,
real?
yeah, dude, me too. Because like the thing is, like when you're sitting here in the room with the guy, like it doesn't even cross your mind, like, oh, like people are gonna think this is fake because you get the whole experience. Like you got him walking us through like how it works, like how it's actually not really him doing anything. It's just more him like suggesting things to you. People just see a 5-second clip, they're like, oh, fake,
Well, I was there. I was in person, and I was skeptical going into it, but I saw it with my own 2 eyes. It is indeed real. I don't think Jack's lying to anybody. He didn't even remember not being able to remember the number 6.
That's also what I think we tweeted that last night. But if we were going to try and make a viral clip from me getting hypnotized, I would like to think that the great minds in this room could have thought of something funnier than forgetting the number 6. So.
I think that would be absolutely correct. All right, we got to head out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Same people, same time. As always, until
maybe a guest.
Yeah, let's try and get one.
I'll
honestly, at this point, you never know who's going to come on the show.
Yeah, it could be a hypnotist. It could be a soccer owner. It could be
a homeless dude.
It could be Joshua Block. You never know.
We're open to all guests. All right, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace out.